Good morning, class. In the previous lesson, we were doing joins. We have come to know about join. What is a joint? A join generally means a point where two or more things are connected together. And we have learned that the greater the range of movement, the higher the risk of injury, because the strength of a joint is reduced. And we have come to know about two parts of joint, that is, there are two types, immovable joints and movable joints. We have come to know about immovable joints, right, when two or more bones are in close contact. Example, joints of the skulls are sutures. Next one is movable joints. Movable joints allow the most movements. Now today we are going to learn about types of joints, that is movable joints. We have already learned about immovable joints. We are going to learn about movable joints. They are of four types: hinge joint, ball and socket joint, pivot joint, and gliding joint. Hinge joint, ball and socket joint, pivot joint, and gliding joint. So let us understand two types of joints that we are going to learn today. One is ball and socket joint, and the next one is hinge joint. So the ball and socket joint, by the word ball, and it is fit in a kind of, it is like a socket. The ball is fit inside the socket. So let us understand the ball and the socket joint. The ball and the socket joint is a type of joint in which two bones are hooked into the hollow space of another bone. So two bones are hooked into the hollow space of another bone. So two bones are hooked into the hollow space of another bone. This type of joint helps in rotatory movement, means full rotation. An example of ball and socket joint are the shoulder joint and hip joint. Next joint that we are going to learn is hinge joint. So whenever you think of a hinge, think of a door. In the door there's a hinge. With that you can open as well as close the door. There's a hinge next to the door. So hinge joints. Hinge joints are a type of joint that functions much like the hinge on door, allowing bones to move in and one direction, back and forth, without limited motion along other planes. The fingers, toes, elbows, knees, ankles contain hinge joint. You can see over here, this is acting as a hinge, allowing bones to move in and up, right, with limited motions. This is the hinge joint over here. So class, today we have learned about two kinds of joints, that is ball and the socket joint. The ball and the socket joint is a type of joints in which one bone is hooked into the hollow space of another bone. Example would be shoulder joint and the hip joint, as the shoulder joint is already mentioned before. Next is hinge joint. Hinge joints are a type of joint that functions much like the hinge on a door, allowing bones to move in and one direction back and forth with limited motion along other planes. The fingers, toes, elbows, knees, and ankles contain hinge joints. So class, this is all we'll be learning for today. We have come to know about two kinds of joint, that is ball and socket joint and hinge joint.